The evening air in Dubai carried the scent of expensive perfume and money as Thomas Reed adjusted his tie in the mirror of the Burj Al Arab Hotel ballroom. At 45, his dark hair showed touches of gray at the temples, giving him what his wife called a distinguished look. Thomas checked his watch. Another 2 hours of this corporate event, then he could return to his suite and call Elizabeth back in Boston before she went to bed. 18 years of marriage had turned their relationship into something comfortable but empty. Like a well-worn chair that no longer excited but was too familiar to replace. As a senior executive for Global Investment Partners, Thomas spent more time in Dubai than at home lately, and he couldn't decide if that bothered him. "Excuse me, is this seat taken?" Thomas looked up to see a young woman with warm brown eyes and a professional smile. She wore a simple black dress that somehow looked more elegant than the flashy outfits around them. "Please," he said, gesturing to the empty chair. "I'm Thomas Reed. Anna Walsh. I'm coordinating tonight's event, just taking a short break before the keynote speech." Her British accent caught his attention. Most expatriates in Dubai came and went, but something about Anna suggested deeper roots. He noticed she wore no wedding ring, though he twisted his own absent-mindedly as they spoke. "How long have you been in Dubai?" Thomas asked, finding himself genuinely curious. 3 years now, came for a 6-month contract and never left. The city has a way of keeping you. Anna smiled, revealing a small dimple in her right cheek. "And you? Business or pleasure?" "Always business. Though Dubai makes it hard to tell the difference sometimes." They talked easily, like old friends catching up rather than strangers at a corporate function. Anna knew the city in ways his business guides never revealed: the small Lebanese restaurant hidden behind the financial district, the quiet beach spots tourists never found, the local art galleries showcasing regional talent. When Anna stood to return to her duties, Thomas felt a strange disappointment. "Perhaps you could show me that restaurant you mentioned sometime. For business purposes, of course. My company is always looking for places to entertain clients." The excuse sounded hollow even to his ears. Anna paused, her eyes dropping briefly to his wedding ring. "I don't usually," she began, then seemed to reconsider. "Here's my business card for professional inquiries." The next day, Thomas told himself he was just being friendly when he emailed Anna about restaurant recommendations. When they met for coffee 3 days later, he convinced himself it was networking. By the following week, as they walked along a quiet stretch of beach at sunset, the pretense had worn thin. "I should get back," Anna said, though she made no move to leave. "Early meeting tomorrow." Thomas nodded. "My wife calls around this time." It was the first direct mention of Elizabeth all evening. The word hung between them like a physical barrier. "Do you love her?" Anna asked suddenly, then shook her head. "I'm sorry. That's not my business." "It's complicated," Thomas answered, the universal excuse of those contemplating betrayal. "She's a good person. We've just been growing apart for years." Anna stepped back, creating distance. "I've heard that before, Thomas. I promised myself after the last time I wouldn't be that woman again." "What woman?" "The one who falls for unavailable men," she said simply. "I should go." As Thomas watched her walk away, something shifted inside him. The excitement he felt wasn't just attraction, it was the thrill of possibility, of escaping the predictable path his life had taken. He could have let her go, should have let her go. But as he watched her disappear into the Dubai night, Thomas already knew he would see her again. He just didn't know how that decision would eventually lead to murder. For the next 2 weeks, Thomas found reasons to extend his Dubai business trip. He told his office he needed to secure important contracts. He told Elizabeth he missed her but couldn't leave the negotiations at a critical stage. In truth, he spent every free moment thinking about Anna. He sent her a text message about a business matter that didn't exist. She replied politely but kept her distance. Thomas wasn't used to being refused. Most people in his life, colleagues, friends, even Elizabeth, usually gave him what he wanted. He sent flowers to her office with a note simply reading, "Coffee." Anna called him that evening. The flowers were beautiful but unnecessary. "Did you like them?" Thomas asked. "That's not the point," she said, but he could hear a smile in her voice. They met at a small cafe far from the business district, where Thomas was unlikely to see anyone he knew. Anna wore jeans and a simple white blouse, looking younger away from her work clothes. "This isn't a good idea," she said immediately. Thomas stirred his coffee. "It's just coffee. We both know it isn't." He didn't deny it. "Tell me about yourself." The real Anna, not the professional event coordinator. Slowly, her guard lowered as she talked about growing up in London, studying hospitality management, and the bad breakup that had prompted her move to Dubai. Thomas listened more carefully than he had to anyone in years. When Anna mentioned her ex was married, Thomas understood her hesitation about him. "He promised to leave his wife for 3 years," she said quietly. "I believed him until I found out I wasn't even the only woman he was lying to." "I'm not him," Thomas said. "All men say that." Anna checked her watch. "I should go." Thomas paid the bill. "Let me drive you home." "No, this ends here, Thomas." But it didn't. 3 days later, she texted him about an art exhibition opening. "Thought your clients might be interested," her message read. The professional pretense was wearing thin. They met at the gallery, maintaining a careful distance in public. When their hands accidentally touched while looking at a painting, neither pulled away. Afterwards, they walked along the marina, talking until midnight. "Why are you still married?" Anna finally asked. Thomas had asked himself the same question lately. 18 years is a long time to just walk away from. We built a life. It's not terrible, just empty. Sometimes. He stopped walking. "Elizabeth is a good person. She deserves better than what I'm doing." Anna looked out at the water. "So do I." Thomas turned her face gently toward his. "You deserve everything." When he kissed her, all his excuses and justifications seemed to make perfect sense. Anna pulled away first. "I can't do this again," she whispered. "I can't be your Dubai distraction." "You're not," Thomas insisted. "This is different. Prove it." The challenge hung between them. Thomas took her hand and led her to a taxi. They rode in silence to his hotel, both aware of crossing a line that couldn't be uncrossed. In the privacy of his suite, high above the glittering city, Thomas held Anna like she might disappear. Their lovemaking was both tender and desperate, as if they were trying to solve something that had no solution. Afterwards, Anna stared at the ceiling. What happens now? Thomas had no answer. He had meetings in the morning, a video call with Elizabeth scheduled, and a flight back to Boston in 3 days. "I don't know," he admitted. "But I want to see you again." "Of course you do," Anna said, sitting up. "You get to have everything, your wife, your respectable life, and your exciting affair in Dubai." "It's not like that." "It's exactly like that." She dressed quickly. "I know because I've been here before." Thomas watched her gather her things. "Don't leave like this." "Call me when you're back in Dubai," she said at the door. "Or don't. But I won't be your secret for long, Thomas. I've played that role before, and I promised myself, never again." After she left, Thomas stared at his wedding ring. For the first time, he seriously considered taking it off, not just for Anna, but for himself. The thought both terrified and excited him. He picked up his phone to cancel his flight home, not yet understanding how this one decision would eventually lead to bloodshed. Over the next 4 months, Thomas fell into a rhythm of deception that became almost natural. His trips to Dubai grew longer and more frequent. His company didn't question his extended stays. His work performance had actually improved. Thomas felt more alive than he had in years. When in Boston, he went through the motions with Elizabeth. They ate dinner together, discussed renovations to their house, and attended the same social events they always had. At night, he slept beside her while dreaming of Anna. Sometimes guilt crept in when Elizabeth rested her head on his shoulder or mentioned future plans. But those moments passed quickly when his phone buzzed with messages from Dubai. "I miss you," Anna would write, and Thomas would find himself counting days until his return. In Dubai, Thomas lived differently. Anna introduced him to her small circle of friends, other expatriates who had made the city their home. For the first time, he experienced Dubai beyond luxury hotels and business meetings. With Anna, he visited local markets, ate at small family restaurants, and spent quiet evenings watching the sunset from her modest apartment balcony. "You're different here," Anna observed one evening as they shared takeout food on her couch. "More real." Thomas knew she was right. "I feel more like myself with you." Anna looked at him seriously. "Which self is the real one, Thomas? The Boston husband or the Dubai lover?" The question haunted him. On his next return to Boston, Thomas began moving money. He opened a separate bank account and transferred funds that Elizabeth wouldn't immediately notice. Not enough to raise alarms, but sufficient to build a safety net. He told himself it was just a precaution, not yet a plan. Elizabeth noticed other changes. "You're different lately," she said one evening as they prepared for bed. "Distant. Just work stress," Thomas lied easily. "Is everything okay in Dubai? You're there so much now." Thomas felt a flash of panic. "The Middle East market is expanding. It's good for the company." Elizabeth studied him. "Good for us too? I barely see you anymore." He kissed her forehead, an affection that now felt mechanical. "It's temporary." Another lie. Nothing about his situation felt temporary. When alone, Thomas researched divorce laws in Massachusetts. The financial implications were substantial. After 18 years, Elizabeth would be entitled to half of everything, possibly more. His reputation would suffer. Friends would take sides. The thought made him hesitate. Back in Dubai the following week, Thomas took Anna to dinner at the revolving restaurant atop a luxury hotel. The city sparkled below them like a carpet of stars. "I've been thinking about us," he said carefully. Anna set down her wine glass. "So have I. I want more than stolen time." "What does that mean exactly?" Her eyes were cautious. "I've heard vague promises before." Thomas reached for her hand. "I'm considering divorce." Anna's expression revealed both hope and skepticism. "Considering isn't doing. These things take time." "Time isn't what I'm worried about, it's intention." She pulled her hand away. 3 months ago, you were just considering extending your stay in Dubai. 2 months ago, you were considering telling your wife about your frequent trips here. Are you seeing the pattern?" Thomas felt defensive. "It's complicated." "It always is." Anna sighed. "I'm not getting any younger, Thomas. I want a real life, not just romantic dinners and secret weekends." The conversation ended without resolution, leaving Thomas unsettled. That night in his hotel room, he received a text from Elizabeth. "Just booked my flight to Dubai. Time I see what keeps my husband so busy. Arriving Thursday. Surprise." Thomas stared at the message, his heart pounding. Thursday was 2 days away. He looked at the framed photo of Anna on his nightstand. Then at his wedding ring. For the first time, he understood that he couldn't keep both worlds intact much longer. Something would have to break. Thomas spent the next 48 hours in a panic. He called Anna immediately after receiving Elizabeth's text. "We need to talk," he said when she answered. "It's urgent." They met at a quiet coffee shop where Thomas showed her the message from his wife. "She's coming here? To Dubai?" Anna's face paled. "When?" "Thursday, the day after tomorrow." Thomas ran his hands through his hair. "I need to move your things out of my hotel suite." Anna sat back, her expression hardening. "That's your first concern? Hiding evidence of me?" "Anna, please. I need time to figure this out." "Figure what out exactly? How to juggle your wife and your mistress in the same city? Or whether you'll finally make a choice?" Anna's voice remained low, but her words cut deep. Thomas reached for her hand across the table. "Just give me this week. I'll handle Elizabeth's visit, then we'll talk about our future. For real this time." "Fine," Anna said, pulling her hand away. "Call me when she's gone." Thomas spent that night clearing all traces of Anna from his hotel suite. He removed her photo from the nightstand, gathered stray earrings and hair ties, and returned her books to a shopping bag. He even changed the sheets, then called housekeeping for extra cleaning. His hands shook as he deleted text messages and cleared browser history on his laptop. He met Elizabeth at the airport Thursday afternoon, forcing a smile as she rushed toward him. "Surprise," she said, throwing her arms around his neck. "I've missed you so much." Thomas hugged her, feeling like an actor in a play. "What made you decide to come?" Elizabeth linked her arm through his as they walked to collect her luggage. "I wanted to see this place that's become your second home. Maybe understand why my husband prefers it to Boston." Her words carried a hint of accusation beneath the cheerful tone. Thomas felt a cold drop of sweat roll down his back. "It's just business," he said. "But I'm glad you're here. I can show you around." For the next 5 days, Thomas played tour guide to his wife, while dodging Anna's increasingly frustrated messages. He took Elizabeth to the tallest building in the world, to luxury shopping malls, and to carefully selected restaurants, avoiding all the places he frequented with Anna. On their third night, Elizabeth surprised him by wearing new lingerie and initiating sex for the first time in months. Thomas closed his eyes and tried to focus on his wife, but Anna's face kept appearing in his mind. Afterwards, he felt disgusted with himself. "That was nice," Elizabeth said, curling against him. "We should do that more often." "Yes," Thomas agreed, staring at the ceiling. By day 5, Thomas was exhausted from the constant vigilance. While Elizabeth showered one morning, his phone buzzed with a message from Anna. "We need to talk. Today, I don't care what excuse you make." Thomas deleted it immediately, but not before Elizabeth stepped out of the bathroom. "Who was that texting so early?" she asked casually, wrapping her hair in a towel. "Work," Thomas lied. "The Boston office forgets about time differences." Elizabeth nodded, but her eyes lingered on his phone. Later that day, while Thomas stepped away to take a business call that couldn't be avoided, Elizabeth excused herself to the hotel spa. Instead, she returned to their suite and did what she had been wanting to do all week. She searched Thomas's laptop, his briefcase, and finally, the hidden pocket of his suitcase where she found a woman's earring and a handwritten note that simply read, "Until next time, A." When Thomas returned to the suite that evening, Elizabeth was sitting calmly on the balcony with a glass of wine. "Good day," he asked, loosening his tie. "Illuminating," Elizabeth replied. "I think it's time we had an honest conversation about your life in Dubai, don't you?" Thomas felt the floor tilt beneath him. The world he had carefully constructed was about to collapse. Thomas stepped onto the balcony, his heart racing. The Dubai skyline glittered around them, oblivious to his crumbling world. "What do you mean?" he asked, trying to sound confused. Elizabeth held up the earring between her fingers. It caught the light, sparkling like an accusation. "Let's not insult each other with more lies, Thomas." Her voice was steady, controlled. "Who is she?" Thomas considered denying everything, but the evidence was there. The look in Elizabeth's eyes told him she already knew more than she was saying. "Her name is Anna," he finally admitted. "It's not what you think. It's exactly what I think." Elizabeth took a sip of wine. "How long?" "4 months. Do you love her?" The question hung in the air. Thomas looked away, which was answer enough. Elizabeth nodded slowly. "I suspected something when the jewelry charges appeared on our credit card. Jewelry you never gave me." She placed the earring on the table between them. "I hired someone to follow you 2 weeks ago." Thomas felt sick. "You had me followed." 18 years of marriage gives me that right," Elizabeth said. "You've been careless, Thomas. The investigator has photos of you with her. Quite intimate ones." "I'll end it," Thomas said quickly. "We can work this out. Can we?" Elizabeth studied him. "Do you want to?" The question surprised him. Did he want to save his marriage? A month ago he'd been researching divorce. Now faced with Elizabeth's calm anger, he felt confused. "I don't know," he admitted. "At least that's honest." Elizabeth finished her wine. "I'm flying home tomorrow. I've booked you a ticket too." "Elizabeth, you have a choice to make," she interrupted. "Come home with me tomorrow and we'll try to repair what's left of our marriage, or stay here with her and I'll file for divorce immediately." Thomas swallowed hard. "I need time to think. You've had 4 months." Elizabeth stood up. "I'm going to bed. You can sleep on the couch." After Elizabeth went inside, Thomas sat alone on the balcony for hours. Eventually, he texted Anna, "We need to meet. Tomorrow morning, it's important." They met at a quiet cafe far from Thomas's hotel. Anna could see from his face that something was wrong. "She knows," Thomas said without preamble. Anna's face fell. "How?" "She found your earring, and she hired someone to follow me. There are photos of us together. What happens now?" Anna's voice was small. Thomas lifted his hands. "She wants me to return to Boston with her. Today. And if you don't, she'll file for divorce." Anna sat up straighter. "Isn't that what you wanted? What we talked about? It's complicated." "Stop saying that." Anna's voice rose, drawing glances from nearby tables. She lowered it again. "It's actually very simple. Do you want to be with me or not?" Thomas reached for her hand. "Of course I do." "Then what's the problem? Stay here. Let her file for divorce. The financial implications. So this is about money? Anna pulled her hand away. No, it's about. About what? Your reputation? Your comfortable life? What matters more than us? Thomas had no answer that wouldn't hurt her. He built a life over 18 years. Walking away would cost him more than half his wealth, his social standing, possibly even his job if the scandal affected the company. I need you to understand, he began. I understand perfectly. Anna's eyes filled with tears. You never intended to leave her. That's not true. I just need more time. Time for what? To have both of us? To keep your perfect life in Boston and your exciting affair in Dubai. Anna stood up. I'm pregnant, Thomas. The words hit him like a physical blow. What? How long have you known? 2 weeks. I was waiting for the right time to tell you. She gathered her bag. I guess now is as good a time as any. Thomas reached for her. Anna, wait. We need to talk about this. No, you need to make a decision. She pulled away. I'm done waiting. As Anna walked out of the cafe, Thomas felt his two worlds colliding with catastrophic force. A child would change everything. He looked at his watch. Elizabeth's flight was in 4 hours. His mind raced with desperate calculations, searching for a solution that would let him keep everything. It was then that the darkest thought first entered his mind. Thomas returned to his hotel room in a daze. Elizabeth was packing her suitcase, moving with efficient precision. Have you decided? She asked without looking up. I need more time, Thomas said. Elizabeth zipped her suitcase closed. That's not one of the options. Thomas sat heavily on the edge of the bed. You don't understand. The situation has changed. How? Elizabeth finally looked at him. Is there something else I should know? Thomas nearly told her about the pregnancy, but stopped himself. That would only make everything worse. No. I just need a few more days. Fine. I'll change my flight to next week. But this is your only extension. Elizabeth's voice was cold, and I'm keeping the private investigator on the job. As soon as Elizabeth left for a scheduled spa appointment, Thomas began searching on his laptop. He looked up information on undetectable poisons, heart attacks that looked natural, and accidents that could be arranged. His hands trembled as he typed, shocked by his own thoughts. Was he really considering murder? He closed the laptop and poured himself a drink. There had to be another solution. He tried calling Anna, but she didn't answer. He left a message. We need to talk, please. An hour later, Thomas received an anonymous email. The subject line read, A picture is worth $2 million. The email contained photos of him and Anna in intimate situations, along with a message. Wire $2 million to the attached account within 72 hours, or these go to your wife and your company board. Thomas felt sick. Someone was blackmailing him. Was it the private investigator Elizabeth hired? Had she put someone up to this, or was it someone else entirely? He forwarded the email to his personal account, then deleted it from the hotel computer. He needed to think. The blackmail attempt only added to his growing desperation. $2 million was a fortune, but the damage to his career and personal life would be far worse if those photos got out. Thomas called Anna again. This time she answered. What do you want? Her voice was tired. We need to meet. It's urgent. I've said everything I needed to say. Please, Anna, 1 hour, my hotel suite. Elizabeth is out. After a long pause, Anna agreed. When she arrived, Thomas poured her a glass of water and himself another whiskey. Someone is blackmailing me, he said, showing her the email on his phone. Anna's face paled as she looked at the photos. How did they get these? I don't know. Maybe Elizabeth's investigator. Thomas paced the room. They want $2 million. Can you pay it? That's not the point. Even if I pay, they'll just ask for more. Thomas finished his drink. Did you tell anyone about us? About the baby? Anna's eyes narrowed. No. Why would you ask that? I'm just trying to figure out who's behind this. Thomas sat beside her. But that's not the only problem. Elizabeth knows about us. She wants me to go back to Boston with her, or she'll file for divorce immediately. And you're going with her, Anna said flatly. I don't know what to do, Thomas admitted. If we stay together, I lose half of everything in the divorce. My reputation, possibly my job. I'd have nothing to offer you or the baby. So this is about money again. Anna stood up. I don't care about your money, Thomas. I care about you. You say that now, but raising a child is expensive. So your solution is to abandon us? Anger flashed in Anna's eyes. Thomas hadn't meant to say it that way. He reached for her arm. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm trying to find a solution where everyone wins. There's no such solution. Anna pulled away. Someone has to lose, and it's always going to be me, isn't it? No, Anna. I love you. The words came out desperately. I think someone is trying to set us up. What are you talking about? The blackmail, the timing, it's too perfect. Thomas lowered his voice. I think Elizabeth is behind this. Anna stared at him. Are you serious? You think your wife is blackmailing you? That's insane. Is it? She hired the investigator. She suddenly shows up in Dubai. Now this? Thomas grabbed Anna's shoulders. Don't you see? She's forcing me to choose. Thomas, you're scaring me. Anna stepped back. I think you should call the police about the blackmail. The police? No. That would expose everything. Thomas moved closer, his voice intense. I think you're working with her. Anna's face showed pure shock. Working with Elizabeth? Are you insane? It makes perfect sense, Thomas said, his voice rising. You've been pressuring me to leave her for months. Maybe you got tired of waiting. Maybe this is your way of forcing me to choose. Listen to yourself. Anna backed away toward the door. You're paranoid. This isn't the Thomas I know. The Thomas you know? He laughed bitterly. You've known me for 4 months. Elizabeth has known me for 20 years. And clearly she doesn't know you at all if she had to hire someone to follow you. Anna's hand reached for the doorknob. I'm leaving. Call me when you're thinking clearly. Something snapped in Thomas's mind. In 3 quick steps, he crossed the room and grabbed Anna's wrist. You're not going anywhere until we figure this out. Let go of me. Anna's voice was steady, but fear flickered in her eyes. Not until you tell me the truth. Thomas tightened his grip. Are you blackmailing me? You're hurting me? Anna tried to pull away. This is crazy. I would never do that to you. Then who would? Thomas pushed her against the door. Who else knew about us? Your friends? Did you tell them about the baby too? No one. I told no one. Tears formed in Anna's eyes. Thomas, please, you're scaring me. I'm scaring you? His voice was dangerously quiet now. My entire life is falling apart and you're scared. Anna managed to free her wrist. This isn't you. It's the alcohol talking. Let me go, and we can discuss this tomorrow when you're calmer. She turned to open the door, but Thomas slammed his palm against it, keeping it shut. We're not done talking. Yes, we are. Anna turned to face him, her back against the door. I love you, Thomas, but right now I don't even recognize you. You love me. Thomas laughed. Then why are you threatening me? I'm not threatening you. Why can't you see that? The photos, the blackmail, the timing of your pregnancy announcement, it's all too convenient. Convenient? Anna's voice broke. You think I plan to get pregnant as some kind of trap? What kind of person do you think I am? Thomas didn't answer. His eyes had a wild look that Anna had never seen before. She tried another approach, speaking softly. Thomas, listen to me. We can figure this out together, but you need to calm down first. He stared at her for a long moment, then stepped back slightly. Anna took the opportunity to move away from the door, edging toward the center of the room where the heavy marble coffee table sat between 2 sofas. You're right, Thomas said, running his hands through his hair. I'm not thinking straight. Anna exhaled with relief. Let me make you some coffee, and we can talk about what to do next. Thomas nodded and moved toward the minibar. Anna watched him cautiously as he poured another drink instead of waiting for coffee. His hands were shaking. I think the blackmailer could be someone from your office, Anna suggested, or hotel staff who noticed us coming and going. Thomas turned to her, his expression suddenly cold. Or it could be you. We're back to this again? Anna sighed in frustration. Fine, I'm leaving. Call me when you're sober. She moved to grab her purse from the coffee table. Thomas lunged forward, grabbing her arm roughly. You're not going anywhere. Anna jerked away from him with surprising strength, causing Thomas to stumble. Stop it. This isn't you. You don't know me, Thomas growled, regaining his balance. You only know what I've let you see. Something in his eyes terrified Anna. She backed away, the coffee table between them. I'm going to leave now, she said firmly. Don't try to stop me. Thomas moved suddenly, coming around the table toward her. Anna stepped back, tripped on the edge of the rug, and lost her balance. Thomas reached for her, either to catch her or to grab her. Neither would ever know for sure. Their momentum sent them both crashing down. Anna's head struck the corner of the marble coffee table with a sickening sound. The silence that followed was absolute. Anna lay motionless on the floor, blood pooling beneath her head. Thomas stared in horror, unable to process what had just happened. He touched her neck, searching for a pulse that wasn't there. In that moment, his mind cleared with terrible clarity. What he had considered in abstract terms, murder, had now become his reality, but not as he had planned. Not Elizabeth, Anna, and their unborn child. Thomas sat on the floor beside Anna's body, and for the first time in years he began to weep.